How do we do, folks? Yo, boom! Welcome 1205. Numbers after the name. Wasteland Wednesday murder game. Something different here, though. The Blackout experience. Black Ops Royale, whatever the hell they're calling it. Blackout mode for basically Warzone. I dabbled in it. Let's start with some positives first, then we go in with some negatives. The positives, I'm actually playing it, which is much more than I did with Warzone. Warzone, I played it for like a week or two, and I was like, yeah, I'm good on that. This has only been out for a week or two, and I haven't played it too much. I probably got maybe a total of 10 to 15 games, maybe somewhere around there. One win. This is actually my second full game that I played. So second game win. I thought I was gonna be a natural at this. Haven't won since. I think I got third. Was the closest I got since. And that was brutal, man. Clifftown just jumped off a building. I was getting shot at by somebody. Jumped off a building. Be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna regroup right here. There was just a guy laying prone at the edge of like the blue that just shot me, and I was like, I just happened to jump right in front of him. It was brutal. But anyway, so small sample size in what I've played. 10, 15 games maybe total. Things that I like. Well, for starters, I wouldn't really call it Blackout. It's much more of a Warzone with some Blackout rule set to it. But it's still Warzone. I would still say it's more Warzone than Blackout. It's just, some rules and rule set and item kind of stuff that resembles Blackout in it. I like the map. I think the map's pretty awesome. I think one of the big differences, and one of the things I didn't like necessarily about Warzone, was just how dreary the map was to me. This one has a little more life to it, so I appreciate it. It's very dense in some areas. Like, it's got a lot of buildings, and when you look at like the original Blackout, it's so much simpler to know and understand. And this is like, poof, like every place has got like 4 or 5 like 3-story buildings. So there's a lot of optionality in it, which is realistic, I suppose, to a certain extent, but also is just, I don't know. There was a simplicity to, in Blackout, like Array was just these handful of buildings and that's it, versus in a game, or let's speak about like Fire Range, for example. It's in both. Fire Range is the little area that's in here, whereas in this game, Fire Range is that, plus some more, and additional stuff around it, and, even that one's flat. Maybe that's not the right excuse. I'll use Clifftown as an example. Like Clifftown is a ton of buildings with a ton of avenues and different ways of kind of handling things, and caves in the bottom. Like, there's way too much going on over there. So yeah, it makes it a little bit challenging at times. But either way, the map overall, I'm a positive about it. I like the color, love the vibe, love the aesthetic of it, and I do enjoy some of the parts of how it flows. I enjoy the no loadout kind of stuff and all that. That part of returning to Blackout is key to me and key to the Battle Royale experience. To me, being able to pick your own loadout and have your own weapons and stuff, I think there's room for it, and I'm glad that both bows are out now, and go play whatever you want. That's perfectly fine. But me personally, it removes the randomness that I enjoy the Battle Royale, where you come into a game and, hey, sometimes you're like, man, all I can find is like these 2 guns. I got to rock and roll with these things. Instead of being like, oh man, all I could find are those guns, it's not fun. Like, I'd rather get my own guns and do that. Like, I just think that's weak sauce. That's me personally. Those things are positive. Obviously, perks being back are cool. They are a little bit funkier this time, like Skulker, for example. Like, there's no, I think, anything equivalent of a Dead Silence kind of thing. Even Skulker itself doesn't operate as that, so that's a little bit weird. But being able to use them is cool. Mechanically speaking, everything runs a little bit smoother than Blackout, like the menuing, once you kind of get used to it, to having the 2 different tacticals, 2 different lethals kind of thing, being able to switch them on the fly are pretty nifty over there. I'm glad that the armor's back, even though I will say as a negative, I feel like it's way too difficult to find. At least I don't know exactly where it is fully. Maybe that's something I just got to get used to. Sometimes I'll run into level 1 every once in a while, but the rest of them, I'm like, I don't know. I just end up having to kill people to get them. I understand that there's special events and contracts and the whole zombie things that drop in you, whatever the hell they're called, the breach. I understand those things. You get like good loot and stuff like that. And maybe there are parts in some maps where it's like helpful to actually get like, better armor, but I haven't run into those yet. So maybe some accessibility there, and I know they added some more loot in different areas already, so I'm sure they'll kind of keep monitoring that. And the solo experience, I guess it's a positive that they added to it. Kind of crazy that it wasn't even there to begin with. Same with like duos, for example, or even if you want to play with 3s as well. There's some armor. So good that they added that in just a span of a week, but clearly the game's not necessarily meant or adjusted for that. I think Raven kind of mentioned that, like, just a heads up, this is built for 4 players, but you could play with 1 player. Whatever. I'm all for all the Blackout elements of it kind of added to the game. If I want to point out some negative kind of things, I like the streamlinedness of the upgrade path to your weapons. I think that's perfectly okay. I prefer if we had separate attachments that I could then change, because in Blackout I would have a gun and then I'd find another gun that I like and I'd put some attachments on that thing and kind of keep it moving. But whatever, if you're gonna limit me and tell me that we will only have these weapons and they upgrade this way, that's fine. The one negative though is the sights on the guns. Like you can't just all of a sudden throw a 2x on like a submachine gun. I'm not interested in that. You can't just give me an AK that has like a 4 times on it and I can't get rid of it. Like that's wild stuff to me. So it makes me only want to use guns that have like red dots, for example. That's gotta be like changed. Like, there's no way that like I don't even know how anyone thought that that was a good idea. Like, honestly, it seems kind of wild to me that like once again I can understand the streamlinedness and almost every other part of it I'm cool with, even though I prefer not to, but I'm almost cool with you auto attaching these things to me. I think the fact you can't transfer them to the weapons when I pick them up, like say for example, if I want to use this submachine gun that's on the ground right now, I can. I'm starting from the beginning of it. I think that's pretty lame. I think you should be able to carry over whatever tier you're at when you pick up a new weapon. Once again, those are minor things, but the big one is the sight. Like you can't give me that kind of sight. Grapple hook back in this game, it's awesome. Slam dunk, like it adds so much more movement. I will say the movement overall on this is a big positive. Obviously, it's Black Ops 7. It's the omni movement kind of thing, so that adds a lot of life to the game. But even the wingsuit mechanics, I personally struggle to use my damn wingsuit in Black Ops 4 in Blackout the original. People were better at it. Obviously, I sucked at it. But here's being able to jump off any high place and just kind of double tap A, and all of a sudden you're back in the sky. Like flying with it is pretty cool. It adds a lot of different ways of getting around in and out of situations. And that's one thing I gotta say with this whole thing. Like you're never stuck in a situation, especially if you have grapples. Like you could, with those 5 grapples, you go anywhere. I think limiting the 5 grapples is interesting. I don't hate it, but if you want to rack up 10, 15, 20 like inventory slots with it, I think maybe you should be able to, but they're so commonly found on the ground and they're so game changing that I could kind of understand why they did 5. The sensor dart change, although I do enjoy the sensor dart in Blackout, the original, I kind of get where this one is, where you can kind of chuck it and it gives you like 2 or 3 radar pings and that's it. Because, yeah, it would be a pretty big advantage if you were doing it the other way, even though, we all kind of played in those rule sets and you try to take out the sensor dart or you throw an EMP or you use it to your advantage. So, different things on that. What other thoughts do I have about the mode? I mentioned the map and I mentioned kind of the density in some areas. It's a lot, like in some places. It's a lot. Like I'm okay with it, but yeah, it adds to a whole different thing. I will say these areas out here, just the grassy areas, to me are a big improvement over the original Blackout. There's a lot more hills, a lot more ups and downs you can kind of play with, a lot more cover, and there's loot throughout the situation too, which is pretty cool. Because oftentimes in Blackout, you just be going from one side to the other with nothing on there, and that'd be that. And yeah, there's extra stuff to do on the map. I'm not fully aware of those yet. I've shot down, I think I do here in this game, I shot down some sentry drone thingies, some recon drones. I've gone into the zombie thing once, and I got like completely obliterated, and there was like 3 other dudes there, and I killed a guy, and then the other guy like double teamed me, and it was like, man, this is all right, whatever. So I got to get more experience with that to have a full opinion on that kind of thing. The other thing is a redeployment. So you get 1 redeployment token, which you already saw here that I kind of came back to life. I believe you could get more in the game. I'm not 100% sure about that. I personally would prefer if you died kind of thing. But I get it. That's the world we live in these days. I get a win here because I got to redeploy. So I guess I can't be too hateful of the situation. But I've had matches where, yeah, we're down to maybe 30, something like that. I'm holding down an area. I'm doing pretty good. Someone just flies down, and I'm like, whoa. I was like, let me try to get that guy before he gets some stuff. And, yeah, lo and behold, he somehow found like an amazing gun right off the bat and just murders me instead. And I'm like, yeah, but you weren't even in the game. Like, you literally weren't here anymore. Like, why are you here right now? Like, what is going on? So, I get it. It's the world we live in. It's not my favorite thing, but I understand that that's just what it is. And I prefer it over the gulag. I prefer the quickness of it, and that you only get it once too, and that's perfectly fine. At least there's some limitations there to that in the solos gameplay. I understand redeploy towers and the quads and all that kind of stuff. I'm very much speaking solos here. I played a little like my friend Elliot there. I'm probably gonna play with the captain, but I'm probably gonna be mainly a solo guy most nights when they're not kind of on and putting in that work. So overall, it's a game mode that I'm going to mix in and play with. I'm excited to. I'm excited to see what they kind of add and what they kind of tweak as we kind of go along. It's a very good start to me, but I'll still be playing multiplayer probably a little bit more. That's why I'm mixing and matching. So hopefully we'll get some more wins on the channel, though.
bomb incoming. Expect the enemy to bring the rain. Cradle bomb has been detonated in the war zone.
Insert armor.
Cradle bomb is clearing, but we received intel there's valuable supplies in the blast zone. Circle is closing in. Get to the new safe zone. Terminal located. Use it to hunt down and eliminate threats. Terminal scan complete. HVT located nearby. Supply drops are being deployed to the war zone.
Hostile, site bombardment incoming. Stay in condition, Yellow.
Keep clear of the circle. Get to the safe zone. Threat has been neutralized. Fine work. Skilled surveillance drones detected in the area. Take them down. Objective complete.
Insert an armor.
Be advised, circle is closing in. Proceed to the safe zone.
I broke their armor. Insert an armor. I broke their armor. Insert an armor.
Only 10 left. You're losing ground. Move it. Your squad's in the top 5.
Insert an armor.
You're in the last 2. Finish this now.
Insert an armor.
Collapse is inbound. Marking new safe zone.
Deploying equipment. Inserting armor.
The circle is approaching your position. Move to the safe zone.
Inserting armor. Inserting armor. Lethal inbound. Broke their armor. Inserting armor.
Mission accomplished. All targets eliminated.